Hi, this is Elizabeth Lee with the Poseiden Foundation, and today we are interviewing Tracie Garacochea. She is with the Adaptive Skaters out in the world, and she's here to talk all about it and share her perspective and her successes with us. Tracie Garacochea is on the advisory board for the Poseiden Foundation. The Poseiden Foundation is a nonprofit organization whose purpose is to enhance the quality of life and create positive outlets for youth in the United States, Latin America, and globally through participation in alternative sports like skateboarding. The mission of Poseidon Foundation is to inspire all youth through life-changing experiences to pursue their passions and to accomplish their dreams. And we're interested to know more about your experience in skateboarding, Tracie. How did you get involved?
It's a very odd story. I was volunteering at UCLA with the adaptive cycling program, and I would just kind of help as a guide. They get a bunch of kids out and put them on these hand cycles and whatever they could function, whatever their body could do, and we take them on these long bike rides. And I got to know the kids, and you just fall in love with them. And I got to know them through another surf program, and they were going to a skate park, and the kids invited me to go along. And it's like, yeah, I'll go watch these kids. They're just a ton of fun. And so I get out there, and this woman said, "Hey, you want to try it?" And I'm like, yeah. And at the time I was still walking, and I was using a cane, and it's a very slow process when I walk. It's slow, it's painful. And I said, yeah, I'll try it, and took off on this wheelchair through a snake run. And that was it. I was totally sold. And then I had to wait to have the wheelchair built. Adaptive athlete, you cannot just go and get one of these chairs. You cannot go and just get a bike or a wheelchair to play basketball. These
Uh-huh.
things have to be ordered and made for you.
Oh.
So there was like, here I was like, I think I was 55 at the time, and I'm like, no, the time is ticking. I need
Aw.
to do this now. But no, you can't really get like that, because you don't want to upset the guy who's making it.
Oh, sure.
Well, that's kind of, those are just my thoughts. But yeah, I was just so anxious to do this again. And of course, the next time I did it, I was like so scared. But no, I learned really fast after about 6 months of messing around on it and getting some strength. And then, we go on, and it's kind of, the wheelchair has changed my life. My life is so much better using a wheelchair. It's good. It's the best.
Had
Thank
you done adaptive cycling before you started doing adaptive
I
skate?
did. I did a lot of things with something called bike MS, and they're really long, torturous rides. And of course, you are sitting sunny side up. Your face is basically sitting, facing the sun for these whole rides, and they're long and exhausting. But it was for fundraising, and I liked it, but you know, biking on a trike really isn't safe. You can't really take your bike out on the street because you're so low. It just wasn't something you could do. You really had to plan it. You had to get your bike in the car, and it's long. It's a big long trike, and it's not as easy as sticking your wheelchair in the car and going to a skate park.
Ah, okay. So you
Yeah,
said that you had a custom-made chair for skating in the skate park,
I do.
and you said you had to wait a long time. How long was that?
Well, you have to wait basically, I think it took like 4 or 5 months. When you're waiting for something and you're really anxious, I felt like I was a kid. That's a long time, because what happens is, you let the kids, there's like a list, and the guy who makes them, you have this discussion. It's like, oh, this little girl needs, so you have, make the little girl's chair first. That's,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
because the kids, it's more important for them, I think, than an old lady wanting to skate. I think at this point, now it's just kind of, you're served in line.
All
Yeah.
right. And then how was that chair different than a non-adaptive skate chair?
Um, First of all, the cost. My chair is very lightweight. It's
Mm.
made from aluminum. It fits me like a glove. I have shocks on my
Oh,
chair.
wow.
I have special wheels. The spokes are made of carbon fiber so that they're lightweight. My wheels have rubber rims along with them because I don't have a grip. So when I skate, I wear gloves. I have a rubber rim around them. It's called a flex rim, so that the rubber and rubber I can kind of hold on.
Oh, is that your
Um,
only brakes?
yeah, my hands are my brakes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. The other thing is the front casters have a little bit of bounce in them, which can be adjusted. And it's also got skate wheels so that when I land, there's a little bit of bounce in them. So you're not just slamming down hard like a regular wheelchair. Now that we're talking about wheelchairs, I have to say that my my biggest thing that I really want to do in life is get functional wheelchairs for kids and adults, because the regular wheelchairs, the kind that you can actually get through your insurance just as a regular everyday wheelchair user, really fall apart, and the world is not made accessible. California is great, the most accessible place, at least my city is. But if you go elsewhere, you need to know how to get up and down things. I can get
Oh, geez.
downstairs, I can get up curbs and down curbs, but other places it really takes a toll on your body and your wheelchair. So I think that wheelchairs should be made better, because you
Yeah.
only get one every 3 years through insurance, and parts are hard to come by for some reason. My regular wheelchair is also, I have it custom made because I run in my wheelchair. I do half marathons, 5Ks, 3Ks, things like that.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. So
So
you
I'm
have
really,
the one that you run with, is that different than the one you take to the skate park?
it is different. I'm
Oh.
sitting in it differently. It's made so, so in my skate chair, I'm kind of sitting a little bit backwards. So they call it dump. So, but is kind of at an angle. So I'm sitting lower in that one than I'm in my regular chair. In my regular chair, I'm sitting more like I'm sitting in a chair. So that's a difference too.
Why is that?
Well, when you're sitting in a regular chair, you're sitting more straight up, so your posture's better and it's better for your body. In a skate chair, you want your center of gravity to be as low as possible, and that's the same way in skating, I believe. The lower you are in a chair, pretty much the faster you can get, kind of like a little race car.
Yeah, I guess. Got the
Yeah.
shocks and everything. That sounds interesting. So specific. So when you first got into adaptive skate, what did that open up to you? Who else was involved in it? What was happening at the time? Were you a trendsetter in getting involved in that?
When I first started competing, I wasn't really in it to compete, but what happened was they needed more women competing. And
Uh-huh.
here I was 55 and older by at least 30 years than any of the other competitors, but they needed 10 women to have a contest.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
yeah, so I signed up.
great.
Turned out that I was pretty good.
On
And
top of that, awesome.
yeah, so I decided to just keep doing it because, first of all, they need more women. Competing is fun. My feeling is that if you just show up at a competition, you've won. I'm still doing it at 60 is because I want people to know that this is possible. You shouldn't give up your sport because you're aging, or you shouldn't give up competing just because you're older. But I think I need to be out because people need to see wheelchairs out and about and doing things. I want it to be normal. In a skate park, I have a lot of people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, can you go in that bowl?" And it's like, well, yeah, I can. But if you see someone in a wheelchair playing basketball, that's not unusual either. Or running a marathon. I'm the only one in a regular chair doing the marathon. You'll see hand cycles and everything else, but I don't have the shoulder to do the hand cycle, and they disqualified the use of a bike for disabled people.
Oh.
Yeah.
So can you help us understand from the whole spectrum of who can participate in adaptive skate? What kind of
Oh,
adaptations can people bring into that arena?
we have in the wheelchair, which is really called WCMX. I personally have MS. I don't walk well. I have no balance. We have, I mean, people with cerebral palsy, anyone in a wheelchair, spina bifida, things like that. We also have the category with limb differences. We have people that don't have legs, that use prosthetics, some that don't. So they are skating on a regular skateboard. They're just basically sitting on it. We have people with upper arm limb differences, and we have blind folks that skate, and they're just super good too. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know how those guys do it. I mean, they do use beepers, and they put them on the ledges. I don't really understand the placement, but you'll always notice in some of these guys, the blind guys, you'll always know that there's a beeper.
That's so cool. Amazing
Yeah,
what
so they're
people can
very,
do when they're determined.
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So would all of those people with all that variety of adaptations, would they all be competing against each other?
We did with USA Skateboarding, we did do the nationals, I guess it was last year, and we all competed against each other, and the women competed with the men.
Wow.
So, of course, the women were kind of on the lower end. You know, I think I finished probably in fourth in that one. But yeah, we all competed together in that. But normally they are the people who ride the skateboards are separate than the ones who ride the wheelchairs.
I see. I see. Oh, that sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
And then in the culture of skateboarding, how has that culture influenced your life? Or maybe how have you, vice versa, how have you influenced the culture?
For me, it's probably the best community that I have ever been involved with. It's very non-judgmental. Sure, I have been kicked out of a few skate parks from people who really didn't understand. Oh, you can't have that wheelchair in here. But
Oh,
honestly, when you go to a skate park, and I'm sure you know this, you are just a skater. We're all there for the same reason. So I am just looked on as a skater, and I really like that. I am just like everybody else. Who
hmm.
doesn't want to be just like everybody else? We all do. You know, we all look different. We all sound different. I get around differently. You know, you may have, purple eyes or blue hair, but nobody really cares. We're all
Hmm.
there for the same goal. We want to go and skate and have a fabulous time and leave our problems somewhere else. In that way, the community has been so unbelievably accepting. I've had the opportunity to skate in able-bodied skate contests. I've placed in some of them, and it's just joyful just to be with uh, the community and just have as much fun as everybody else.
Yeah, well, that's really good to hear. Do you also mentor other people who are using wheelchairs, or is
I
there?
do. I do. In fact, this year is the worst thing that's happened to me this year. I didn't get to play with kids, didn't really get to teach anybody. But yeah, I do. I have to admit that I still am going out to skate. I do wear my mask and everything. I think just the other day, I think yesterday in Venice, there was a skater who had a torn something in her knee. She just had surgery, but she was in one of these regular chairs, and I let her try my wheelchair. I mean, she didn't go in the bowl or anything, but I let people try my chair.
Oh,
I don't really let them go down anything, but I also let kids try my chair because it's a learning experience.
yeah, yeah. Especially when it's such a custom vehicle to be
Yeah,
able
well,
to try it
it's
out. Shifting a little bit, how did you find out or hear about Poseiden Foundation, which promotes skateboarding, especially for females?
I went to a ladies' day. I enjoyed it because I really like kids. We were going to the barracks, and the barracks is not a good place for wheelchairs, but it's really fun to play with kids. And the kids are just awesome. And it's always about giving back, where you find your biggest joy.
Hmm.
And it's always been kids for me, whether they're able-bodied or the disabled community.
That's nice. And what is your role? What do you do with Poseidon?
The adaptive ambassador. And I just talk to people about all the wonderful things that Poseidon does, going around the world and promoting skateboarding and for kids who otherwise couldn't skate. It's really kind of a fabulous mission. When you have a real skateboard, it's very portable,
Hmm.
and you can go out and skate and just think and relax. What better way to teach a kid to go out and deal with a problem? Giving them the attention and the tools, and that is priceless.
And this year, Poseidon Foundation launched their United We Skate campaign, which is aimed at giving away 100,000 skateboards to in-need youth, which is exactly parallel to what you're talking about right there.
Yes, I would love to grow our sport. Hopefully our sport is headed to the Olympics in 2028. That is my personal goal, is to make it there. We've got to get through the parents first. Disabled child jump into it's a lot of times it's difficult for people to see their kids do some of these things because of their physical issues. The kids want to do it.
And then lastly, do you have any advice for any age level person interested in getting into adaptive skating?
Find me.
There you go. Okay.
Or you could, for anybody interested in adaptive skating, you probably have seen one of us doing it. And because all of us are so interested in growing our sport, reach out to any one of us. And we're all over the world. One of us will turn you on to another one of us. Or if you see us at a skate park, we're all very approachable.
Oh,
Because
that's really good. Are there any specific organizations?
Challenged Athletes Foundation is absolutely fabulous, in California and Idaho, and Triumph Foundation in California, and in Brazil. There's a big community of skaters, especially Brazil.
Huh.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Tracie. I appreciate your time today.
Excellent.
All right. You take care. Thanks again so much. I appreciate your time. And thank you for tuning in to this interview with the Poseidon Foundation featuring Tracie Garacochea. If you are interested in learning more about the Poseidon Foundation or getting in touch with Tracie, you can find our website at poseidenfoundation.org. That's Poseiden foundation.org.